A Shard of Ice. Chapter 5. When she entered, he was lying on the bed, fully dressed, with his hands under his head. He pretended to be looking at the ceiling. He looked at her. Yennefer slowly closed the door behind her. She was ravishing. How ravishing she is, he thought. Everything about her is ravishing and menacing. Those colours of hers, that contrast of black and white, beauty and menace. Her raven black, natural curls. Her cheekbones pronounced, emphasizing a wrinkle which her smile, if she deigned to smile, created beside her mouth, wonderfully narrow and pale beneath her lipstick. Her eyebrows wonderfully irregular when she washed off the kohl that outlined them during the day. Her nose exquisitely too long, her delicate hands wonderfully nervous, restless and adroit. Her waist willowy and slender, emphasized by an excessively tightened belt. Slim legs setting in motion the flowing shapes of her black skirt. Ravishing. She sat down at the table without a word, resting her chin on clasped hands. "Very well, let's begin," she said. "This growing dramatic silence is too banal for me. Let's sort this out. Get out of bed and stop staring at the ceiling looking upset. The situation is idiotic enough, and there's no point making it any more idiotic. Get up, I said." He got up obediently, without hesitation, and sat astride the stool opposite her. She did not avoid his gaze. He might have expected that. "As I said, let's sort it out and sort it out quickly. In order not to put you in an awkward situation, I'll answer any questions at once. You don't even have to ask them. Yes, it's true that when I came with you to Gainvale, I was coming to meet Istredd, and I knew I would go to bed with him. I didn't expect it to come out that you'd boast about it to each other. I know how you feel now, and I'm sorry about that. But no, I don't feel guilty." He said nothing. Yennefer shook her head, her shining black locks cascading from her shoulders. "Geralt, say something." The Witcher cleared his throat. "He calls you Yenna." "Yes," she said, not lowering her eyes. "And I call him Val. It's his first name. Istredd is a nickname. I've known him for years. He's very dear to me. Don't look at me like that. You're also dear to me, and that's the whole problem." "Are you considering accepting his proposal?" "For your information, I am. I told you we've known each other for years, for many years. We share common interests, goals, and ambitions. We understand each other wordlessly. He can give me support, and who knows, perhaps there'll come a day when I'll need it. And above all, he loves me, I think." "I won't stand in your way yet." She tossed her head, and her violet eyes flashed with blue fire. "In my way? Don't you understand anything, you idiot? If you'd been in my way, if you were bothering me, I'd have got rid of the obstacle in the blink of an eye. I'd have teleported you to the end of Cape Bremervoord or transported you to the land of Han in a whirlwind. With a bit of effort, I'd have embedded you in a piece of quartz and put you in the garden in a bed of peonies. I could have purged your brain such that you would have forgotten who I was and what my name was. I could have done all that had I felt like it. But I could also have simply said, 'It was agreeable, farewell.' I could have quietly taken flight, as you once did when you fled my house in Vengerberg." "Don't shout, Yen. Don't be aggressive, and don't drag up that story from Vengerberg. We swore not to go back to it after all. I don't bear a grudge against you, Yen. I'm not reproaching you, am I? I know you can't be judged by ordinary standards, and the fact that I'm saddened, the fact that I know I'm losing you is cellular memory. The atavistic remnants of feelings in a mutant, purged of emotion. I can't stand it when you talk like that," she exploded. "I can't bear it when you use that word. Don't ever use it again in my presence. Never." "Does it change the fact? After all, I am a mutant." "There is no fact. Don't utter that word in front of me." The black kestrel sitting on the stag's antlers flapped its wings and scratched the perch with its talons. Geralt glanced at the bird, at its motionless yellow eye. Once again, Yennefer rested her chin on clasped hands. "Yen." "Yes, Geralt." "You promised to answer my questions. Questions I don't even have to ask. One remains, the most important. The one I've never asked you, which I've been afraid to ask. Answer it." "I'm incapable of it, Geralt," she said firmly. "I don't believe you, Yen. I know you too well. No one can know a sorceress well. Answer my question, Yen." "My answer is, I don't know. But what kind of answer is that?" They were silent. The din from the street had diminished, calmed down. The sun, setting in the west, blazed through the slits of the shutters and pierced the chamber with slanting beams of light. "I've gone veil," the Witcher muttered. "A shard of ice. I felt it. I knew this town was hostile to me, evil." "I've gone veil," she repeated slowly. "The slay of the elf queen. Why? Why, Geralt?" "I'm travelling with you, Yen, because the harness of my sleigh got entangled, caught up in your runners. And the blizzard is all around me, and the frost. It's cold." "Warmth would melt the shard of ice in you, the shard I stabbed you with," she whispered. "Then the spell would be broken, and you would see me as I really am." "Then lash your white horses, Yen. May they race north, where a thaw never sets in. I hope it never sets in. I want to get to your ice castle as quickly as I can." "That castle doesn't exist," Yennefer said, her mouth twitching. She grimaced. "It's a symbol, and our sleigh ride is the pursuit of a dream which is unattainable. For I, the elf queen, desire warmth. That is my secret, which is why every year my sleigh carries me amidst a blizzard through some little town, and every year someone, dazzled by my spell, gets their harness caught in my runners. Every year, someone new. Endlessly. Because the warmth I so desire at the same time blights the spell, blights the magic and the charm. My sweetheart, stabbed with that little icy star, suddenly becomes an ordinary nobody, and I become, in his thought-out eyes, no better than all the other mortal women. And from under the unblemished whiteness emerges spring," he said. "Emerges Aedhgain Vale, an ugly little town with a beautiful name. Aedhgain Vale and its muck heap, that enormous stinking pile of garbage which I have to enter because they pay me to, because I was created to enter filth which fills other people with disgust and revulsion. I was deprived of the ability to feel, so I wouldn't be able to feel how dreadfully vile is that vileness, so I wouldn't retreat from it, wouldn't run horror-stricken from it. Yes, I was stripped of feelings. But not utterly. Whoever did it made a botch of it yet." They were silent. The black kestrel rustled its feathers, unfurling and folding its wings. "Geralt." "Yes, Yen." "Now you answer my question. The question I've never asked you, the one I've always feared. I won't ask you it this time either, but answer it, because I greatly desire to hear your answer. It's the one word, the only word you've never told me. Utter it, Geralt. Please." "I cannot yet." "Why not?" "You don't know." He smiled sadly. my answer would just be a word. A word which doesn't express a feeling, doesn't express an emotion, because I'm bereft of them. A word which will be nothing but the sound made when you strike a cold, empty skull. She looked at him in silence. Her eyes, wide open, assumed an ardent violet colour. "No, Geralt," she said, "that's not the truth. Or perhaps it is, but not the whole truth. You aren't bereft of feeling. Now I see it. Now I know you." She was silent. "Complete the sentence yet. You've decided. Don't lie. I know you. I can see it in your eyes." She did not lower her eyes. He knew. "Yen," he whispered. "Give me your hand," she said. She took his hand between hers, and at once he felt a tingling and the pulsing of blood in the veins of his forearm. Yennefer whispered a spell in a serene, measured voice, but he saw the beads of sweat which the effort caused to stipple her pale forehead, saw her pupils dilate in pain. Releasing his arm, she extended her hands and moved them, smoothing an invisible shape with tender strokes, slowly from top to bottom. The air between her fingers began to congeal and become turbid, swell and pulsate like smoke. He watched in fascination. Creational magic, considered the most elevated accomplishment among sorcerers, always fascinated him, much more than illusions or transformational magic. Yes, Ystredd was right, he thought. In comparison with this kind of magic, my signs just look ridiculous. The form of a bird, as black as coal, slowly materialized between Yennefer's hands, which were trembling with effort. The sorceress's fingers gently stroked the ruffled feathers, the small, flattened head and curved beak. One more hypnotically fluid, delicate movement, and a black kestrel, turning its head, cried loudly. Its twin, still sitting motionless on the antlers, gave an answering cry. "Two kestrels," Geralt said softly. "Two black kestrels created by magic. I presume you need them both." "You presume right," she said with effort. "I need them both. I was wrong to believe one would suffice. How wrong I was, Geralt. To what an error the vanity of the Ice Queen, convinced of her omnipotence, has brought me. For there are some things which there is no way of obtaining, even by magic. And there are gifts which may not be accepted if one is unable to reciprocate them with something equally precious. Otherwise such a gift will slip through the fingers, melt like a shard of ice gripped in the hand. Then only regret, the sense of loss and hurt will remain. Yen, I am a sorceress, Geralt. The power over matter which I possess is a gift, a reciprocated gift. For it, I paid with everything I possessed. Nothing remained." He said nothing. The sorceress wiped her forehead with a trembling hand. "I was mistaken," she repeated. "But I shall correct my mistake. Emotions and feelings." She touched the black kestrel's head. The bird fluffed up its feathers and silently opened its curved beak. "Emotions, whims and lies, fascinations and games, feelings and their absence, gifts which may not be accepted, lies and truth. What is truth? The negation of lies? Or the statement of a fact? And if the fact is a lie, what then is the truth? Who is full of feelings which torment him, and who is the empty carapace of a cold skull? Who? What is truth, Geralt? What is the essence of truth?" "I don't know, Yen. Tell me." "No," she said, and lowered her eyes for the first time. He had never seen her do that before. Never. "No," she repeated. "I cannot, Geralt. I cannot tell you that. That bird, begotten from the touch of your hand, will tell you. Bird, what is the essence of truth?" "Truth," the kestrel said, "is a shard of ice